back to another episode of the analysis series. This time we have Mel on board as well.
Again.
And this time round we'll be talking about Emerald of Katong. Okay, so here's Emerald of Katong. It's actually developed by Lian Group. Preview date is actually on the 1st to 12th November. By the time this video is up, sorry, already preview already.
But at least you make it for before the booking date so that you can use this video as a reference, right, before you actually
Put your check lah. Right.
and select a unit. That's very, very important.
Yes. So we talk about next one, Lian Group. Okay, so a bit of information that we want to say here is that Lian is actually a master developer that's good at creating new, good layout.
Yep.
So basically, they started by creating the HDB DBSS, which is very livable. So they know, what the buyers actually want.
Yep.
And then they create ECs. And then now more of the luxury condominiums.
Correct. So a lot of buyers actually really, really love all these layouts because it's actually very efficient, it's very livable, right? So preference for this kind of developers is actually still there one, right?
Correct. And we're excited to share with you the layouts later on. So before we go to the layout, now let's look at Emerald of Katong project information.
So we have 846 units, 6 blocks with 18, 19, 21 stories, 1 bedder plus study to 5 bedder, and I think all the projects now TOP around the same time, 2028, 2029,
2027.
Yeah, that kind.
Yeah, so before we go in further, just want to share with you, since we have this look at the impression look, right? So the north side is actually over here. Sorry, this is the south side. So south side, you're actually facing the sea area. But next time, there will be another project coming over here lah. Then for the east and the west, you are basically facing all the landed. And then for the north side, you are facing the Tembusu Grand, which we'll be using it a lot as a reference later on. 6 blocks, like what you say, this is actually the luxury blocks. Correct. 5 minutes walks to Tanjong Katong MRT. Okay, so now let's go and see the location map.
Yeah, so location map, just now like we mentioned, we are right next to Tembusu Grand.
Correct.
And
Opposite.
yeah. So, and then we are also next to a nursing home, which is actually still under construction.
Correct.
And we are surrounded by either condos or actually low-rise shop house or black and white housing.
Correct. So later we will be touching on maybe amenities in that area and all. But one thing to highlight is we are actually a very short walk to Tanjong Katong MRT. So this MRT will take you about 3 stops, right? 1, 2, and then the third one to Gardens by the Bay, and fourth one to Marina Bay. So if you are looking at all the action in the CBD area, super near.
And also actually quite near to all the Paya Lebar, the PLQ, all the area.
Over here, correct, the Paya Lebar area. So you can go there for shopping and all also.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, we'll see the street directory map. So same thing, Jalan Tembusu, as in our EOK is actually over here. Tembusu Grand, they are building here. There will be a head court that is over here. Next time, this plot of land, later you will be seeing that it's actually going to be a new residential area. And then right beside our EOK is actually a park. Next time when you're running at the gym there, you'll be facing the park. Later we will be showing you. Okay, so this is actually a superimposed. So you can see already a lot of the H over here. This is actually going to be the nursing home. Then after that, this one, which is reserve land. Okay, and then this one is going to be a
future residential plot.
Correct. Okay, so without further ado, maybe we can just show you guys a little bit on the surrounding environment, because a lot of time you say that near another condo, you're facing another condo, then not very nice ma. But actually, the distance
it's
from
actually
the block,
quite decent, right?
Correct, to the Tembusu Grand block, actually developers quite smart one. They won't build so close, then next time also hard to sell. So they try to tuck it further away. Then you can see that it's actually 66 meter and 44 meter, which is really a wide
It's very
distance.
wide, it's very wide. Even to head court, it's also quite a decent distance as well.
Correct. So next up, we will be sharing with you the views. Okay, so in terms of views wise, we got 4 different areas ma. So like I say just now, the south side we are actually facing the sea, but future next time there will be another plot of land,
Not high enough
yeah, not high enough to see lah. So actually for this project, we should focus more on the internal facing.
Correct.
Yeah, because if not, you are either looking at, okay, this is what we will be considering the green for now, and then this part is actually where the the Tembusu Grand and also the head court is. So you'll be facing condominiums law. So actually inner facing, you'll be facing pool, a bit more better.
Nice.
Yeah, a bit more demand. And then this 2 side, of course, you get your landed lah. Okay, essentially, okay, this is how it looks like. But unfortunately, like what Mel said, we are not so high. We
Only
can't see the
Mayor
sea.
Blue.
Correct. we still can see, okay, in front here, this is the Amber area law, which is the Amber Part 1 Amber and the Esta. I kept saying Part Esta for some reason. Okay, so then this is the view for
The east and west. The
correct,
north and the
and
west.
the west. So this one is actually Tembusu Grand, which they are building already. So next up, we'll be talking about the amenities in this area. You'll be surrounded by many malls.
I think for East Coast, I think everybody also know like everything is there. It's so vibrant. There's so much food. There's like cafes, bars, shopping centers. I think don't need a lot of introduction,
Correct. And also, I think in the east side, Katong area, joochiat area, they are very big on Peranakan, culture and things like that.
Yeah,
so
I love it.
You love it? Peranakan. so if let's say you're into all this, I think it's a very, very nice place for you to stay at. And then it's just a short walk to East Coast Park. Right? So if you like the beach and all, it's a perfect place. So here are some illustration of actually how EOK looks like. So we keep saying EOK is Emerald of Katong lah.
Yeah.
It's not tongue-tied lah. So EOK. So basically this is actually the welcome lounge. You can see that it's basically aircon. So basically you can just wait inside for your cab and all. You have very nice function room and also a welcome pavilion and all, which we'll touch on later. So now here's the story plan.
So just now we're mentioning there's 18, 19 and 21 stories.
Correct.
So the 18 one is the Lux block lah.
Correct.
So only 4 units over there.
Correct.
So the 19 story ones has 6 units.
Correct. 6 unit.
And the rest you have 8.
8. Okay?
Yep.
And then this is actually where the neighboring park will be. And then there will be side gates coming out linking you to the park as well.
There's a lot of side gates.
Correct. There's actually a lot of side gates for this project. I'm quite surprised. I thought like maybe 1, 2, 3. No,
You
they
can
give you
exit
5.
from everywhere.
Yeah, literally. So the tennis court will be over here lah, and then this will be the Emerald Club, and then this will be the Beach Club, which we'll be talking about later. Okay, just nice. We are at the site map
Beach
already.
Club.
Yes,
I like
Beach
the
Club.
sound of it.
Okay, so basically for the Lux block, like what we mentioned, 4 units, per level, so it's a bit more private.
Private block.
Yeah, later we will be sharing with you a little bit on the difference between the Lux and the normal block. And then the next smaller will be this one, which is 6 units per level lah.
Correct.
Okay, and then over here, once you exit already, you will actually take about 5 minutes walk,
minutes
thereabout, depending how fast you walk.
See how your legs how long.
MRT. Yes. Okay, so side gate, right? I'm just going to draw and point out. Over here, you have 1, here you got 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's a lot of side gates, to be honest.
Literally, you can come out from any direction. So Emerald Club, right, is actually where you get your games room, your meeting room, your gym will be facing the park area. For the beach club, right, is actually where you get all your adventure stuff, like your
entertainment,
your beach
kids
club
area.
Correct. Beach splash pool, all the kids area, tennis court, this area. If you want a bit more tranquil one, it's generally in this.
The more active zone and the more serious zone.
Correct. Spa, relaxing zone. Okay. So if you want to know exactly where is what, right, you can take a screen grab of this and then you have a look at it. Okay, so this one I think we went through earlier already, just now the 66 meter and the 47 meter to Tembusu Grand.
So basically not to worry lah, even though the next door you have a condo, but actually developer has already planned this in advance so that you don't get that claustrophobic feeling, right?
Correct. Even next time the other this 28 meter is actually to the newer project. Still quite a good distance away as well.
I mean, it's same like head court, right? You see these areas like 20 minutes from this and 20 minutes to that.
Correct.
Probably.
Similar.
So the next developer, they will also build like further in
away.
also. Yeah.
Then next will be the unit mix, like what Mel said, 1 bedder plus study all the way to 5 bedroom luxury with private lift as well, which we'll be going through now.
Okay, so anyway, and this is also a harmonized project, just to highlight. So if you are not sure what is a harmonized project or what's the difference, you can refer to either of our videos. Yeah, we explain it to you.
Correct. And then next one will be elevation chart. Basically, it's like, per level, what are the unit mix and the unit type. So if you want to know, screen grab it, or if not, you can just get a copy from us. Okay. Next, we will be diving into 1 bedder plus study. Okay, like
one layout.
Only one. Very easy. So for 1 plus study, I think in terms of facing wise, you get all direction. You get this part which is facing the green, the inner facing, and the other two condo facing. Correct. 484 square feet. I think in terms of layout, we are entering from here.
I think layout for 1 plus study is pretty much standard, but there's one thing that is quite special, right? Is that the study is actually in the master bedroom. So actually, Brina, if let's say this can be a vanity table, would it be very nice?
Yes. Actually, for me, it won't be the study.
It definitely won't be a study. I mean, like for most
study here. It's true. Usually, if it's my own place, I'll probably study outside.
Outside, right?
And then this one, I'll change it to a vanity area or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very nice touch, So because like there's not many like 1 bedders that can actually accommodate a vanity area in the first place. You will definitely have to do like your makeup and all in the toilet, lor. But this one is like, you have the option. I think it's not bad.
Correct. Then over here, it's actually full height window, so it's very nice. You allow the light to come in. But I think a bit of a downer for this layout is that this part here, because we are actually beside the
aircon latch.
So the window will be half window. So here full, here half, you might get a little bit darker lah.
The bottom side might be a little bit darker as compared to the headboard side lah.
Correct. So that's one thing for you guys to take note of. So after that, we are going to go into a very interesting topic is it really for investment or rental, right?
Because I think there's a very common misconception that, I can buy one bedder and you can buy one bedder.
Yes.
Then actually rental investment, it would be a good deal. But is it really so for, let's say, Emerald of Katong?
Yes, now this is what we'll be diving into. We did our research, we realized that actually not so much. Okay, so first of all, we look at the rental yield. So for east side, right, I don't know if you know, but there's actually many one bedders.
A lot
of one bedders. And usually that one bedder, we just plug a few, in the current one that is asking price in Property Guru or something lah. So you're looking at 2009, 2008, 3,250. So we take an average of about 2009, thereabout.
Yep.
And the estimated price, lucky for you guys when we do this video, the guide price is already out.
Yes.
So for one bedder, it's about 1.2 million starting from. So using the guide price of 1.2 million, your rental yield is really looking at 2.98. Anything higher, the rental will be lower already.
Yeah. So actually, then in this case, right, what is considered a good rental yield?
Actually, in today's market, I think an average rental yield will be something about maybe 3.2, 3.5.
That would be quite lucky,
that
right?
would be quite good. Yeah, because now actually the rental market dropped a bit, but still maintain. It didn't drop really a lot. So for 2.98, not very attractive lah. Okay, so let's be honest. Then the other one is capital gain. So for one bedder, if you want to buy, so we look at Park Esta. Park Esta just TOP, not too long. Also in the east side. But you realize that for their one bedder, right, 452 square feet, the profit is all around the 100 over 1,000 range.
About only one unit is more than 200k.
Correct. So maybe that one super renovated or maybe high floor or something lah. So actually, if you're looking at rental yield, not so much. Capital gain, maybe you probably need to stay a while more, before it gains even more. If you just sell during sub sale or like once TOP, maybe not so attractive.
You have to have a longer runway for selling lah. You have to expect to take a longer time to sell.
Correct.
Right.
So that's why we actually concluded that actually for one bedder is EOK lah, okay, at least it's more towards for own stay, not so much for investment and things like that lah.
Yeah,
I would think.
If it's like your first home, then let's say you want to use this to build up your capital for your next bigger unit, then I mean this is something that you can consider. But if it's for pure rental or investment, then maybe you can have other options.
Yeah, there are other options now in the market lah. Okay, so you can reach out to us, then we can share with you what other options there are lor. Yeah, but for this one is like what you say, matrimonial house or like maybe a single, just to stay there. They like the whole East Coast concept and vibe. Yeah,
like you're not in a rush to sell. I stay there, then okay lah, and then maybe I can sell at this price.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now let's look at the price gap. Okay, Mel, you want to share a little bit? This is actually from your video.
Yes. So what we want to highlight about price gap, right, is because usually new and resale, which one is more expensive? New more expensive, right? So like we can see, right, this is some examples in District 23, which is the Choa Chu Kang Hillview area.
Closer to Bukit Timah.
Close.
Yes.
So at the point of time, 2019, right, Dairy Farm residence was averaging about 1,005-ish PSF.
Correct.
Eco Sanctuary, which is a resale, 1,002 PSF. Price gap is about 20% over. So same in 2019, Midwood. This is a Hillview area, 1,006 PSF, and compared to the Helia, is 1,300 over PSF.
Correct.
So same, 20% over price gap.
Correct.
So what we can draw from this, right, is that new and resale usually is about 20% more expensive.
Correct. So usually new will be more expensive. But today, let me show you this. It's very interesting. Because again, we already know the price guide, so we can actually do this kind of comparison.
Do this.
Yeah, because some of the other projects we don't know, so we can only do an estimation.
Yeah.
So for Emerald of Katong, right, one bedder, we are looking at 1.2 million starting from. But the price gap, right, with a current resale that is selling in the market. Now let's look at
Seaside
residences, 99 year. Seaside, by the way, is one of my favorite.
By the sea.
Yeah, it's by the sea. I went there, I love it. So look at the one bedder, right, for the 560,506 square feet, they are already asking, transacted at 1.25, 1.26. As compared to our one bedder plus study at EOK is 1.2. Actually, there's no price gap at all.
Technically
0%.
speaking, right, Emerald of Katong should be like 20% more expensive than 1.2, right?
Correct.
technically
very ugly.
speaking. Okay, never mind. But
yes,
yeah,
but
so
now it's 0. In
Yeah.
fact, this one, if it's
Looks
really
cheaper.
1.21, is in fact lower than the seaside residences.
So this is an opportunity presented that you can actually take advantage of lah, because eventually the price between new launch and resale is still gonna drift apart.
Correct.
Eventually.
So this is still very attractive. So even though we say, it's not so much for like a rental investment or capital gain, more for own stay, right? But looking at the pricing now, if this is the case, right, it's very, very attractive.
Still can buy.
Don't really care whether you are buying for rental or buying for capital gain. This one is like there's almost 0 price gap.
Correct.
So now, after we finish sharing our 1-bedder, we will go into our 2-bedder analysis. Okay, so now let's dive into our 2-bedder analysis. So before we go into the different layout, we want to bring you guys to attention on the current price comparison. Okay, so we'll be bringing up Tembusu Grand, okay, because we are like,
Side by
neck
side
and neck, side by side. So okay, now let's look at this.
So Tembusu Grand, right, we have 2-bed, 2-bath that is already transacted and sold out at highest 1.807.
Okay.
But what is the starting price for EOK?
Okay, so like again, what we mentioned, we have the price guide ready, ma. So for the starting price for EOK, which is the smaller 2-bed, 2-bath type, is actually starting from 1.5 million only. But we can see that Tembusu Grand, right, which is our sort of like direct competitor, they already have a transaction that is at 1.807. So actually 1.5, and you are buying a newer one as compared to Tembusu Grand. Not that Tembusu Grand is not good. In fact, it's so good that it's sold out already.
Day one.
Day one. So you are actually given another opportunity to start at a day one price. Okay, so which we will get to you on the developer's pricing again later.
Yep.
So now we look at the launch day price comparison. So for Tembusu Grand, which was launched last year, 2023, then we can see that their launch day price, right, is all around 2390 to 2004, or in fact higher than 2004. So an average of 2480. But for EOK right now, right, the guide price for 2-bedder, like we mentioned, is 1.5 million, right? So PSF, we are only looking at 2403. So
Slightly
we are
cheaper than Tembusu Grand.
slightly cheaper, in fact. So we are bringing you all the way back to day one price.
So you have another opportunity.
Correct. So
Chances are this layout will be sold out on day one also.
confirm, I think it's definitely going to be sold out. So now let's dive into the layout. Okay, so we have 624 versus 646. Okay, so this is for the normal 2-bed, 2-bath.
Yeah.
In terms of facing wise, I think most
Quite
direction,
everywhere
it's like you have those that's facing condo, facing the green. You also have the inner facing one. So I think in terms of layout, they are pretty much similar.
Almost the same.
Just that this one is actually tucked in. Right, this one is actually more protrude out. So actually I like this one because the moment you go in, the lights actually shines through the whole kitchen and make the whole place slightly bigger.
Correct.
So this one is just that it's tucked in.
Enclosable if you want to.
Enclose if you want.
Because there is a wall to wall that you can enclose it up, but this B1P will not be able to do that.
Correct. But actually we always say enclose. But if there is no window, actually if you enclose, it's not very nice. When you're cooking, it's very hot and stuffy. Yeah. So that's one.
Just an option
Just
if
an
let's
option.
say somebody wants
And
it.
this one is slightly bigger, but bigger maybe at this part, which is like the corridor space, slightly bigger, which you also don't need. So to me, actually, it's more
Not too
towards
much
this.
of a difference. So
Not
if
too
you can
much.
just go for the smallest unit.
Correct. So we will conclude everything at the end of the 2-bedder part. So before that, we will go into a 2-bedder plus study analysis.
Yep.
Okay, so 2-bedder plus study, we have 3 different layouts, but let's look at the current price comparison with Tembusu Grand again.
So Tembusu Grand, again, this unit type is already sold out. Highest done is 2.01.
2.01. Okay, already gone.
Actually,
now.
still have Tembusu
Yes.
Grand still have 2 plus study, but it's slightly larger and starting from $2.1 million.
Correct.
Yeah.
So EOK starting price, guide price for a 2 plus study is actually $1.6 million.
Wow, like that
starting
chiong already
from.
lor.
Yeah, lor.
People chiong.
I also think people will
用抢的。
chiong. 用抢的. So like it's gonna be like Trump like that, also 用抢的. Okay. So next we will be diving into developer 3 phases. So if you are not aware of this, I think
She has a video.
I have a video on that, like explaining what is how developer actually price their product, and then from phase 1 to phase 3. But to put it simply, usually phase 1 is during launch and all, where everybody snatch, and then developer pricing is a bit more reasonable.
Correct.
Then as you sell more and more, inventory going down, right, until you got nothing much to sell already, of course this is the best time for you to raise the price a little bit.
Especially when now 6 launches at one time, the developers will be very, very sensitive about pricing
Correct.
because they all want the same buyers, right? The same pool of buyers.
Yes, so it's very, very attractive.
Very
That's why we see
competitive.
today we are in this situation now where Tembusu Grand, right, for a 2-bed plus study is you are looking at like the transaction above $2 million. But Emerald of Katong is still 1.6 million starting from.
Yep.
So although we say 1.6, let's just say that okay, if you buy a 1.8, 1.6 maybe the
Second floor, not so good
third floor,
facing.
you super buy a high floor, good facing, let's say 1.8
1.8
million.
lah. Reasonable?
Reasonable. You add your legal fee, your buyer stamp duty, maybe it's about 1.862 for example.
Okay.
Okay, and then if let's say you buy at 1.8, right, and then you sell next time, all these people that is selling at bought at 2 million.
Bought at 2 million,
They will
yeah.
want to sell like maybe 2.4, 2.5 to make a profit. Actually, even if you sell at $2 million, you also make a profit already.
Almost.
Yeah, almost 100 over 1,000. But of course, this is usually won't be the case. Most of the time when they raise their price, you can also sell at 2.4, 2.5.
But this is your safety margin already.
Correct. People already accepted the price at $2 million as of today.
Yeah,
so
you're not setting a new benchmark lah.
Correct. So actually, you buy anything below 1.85. In fact, you buy anything below
No,
2
million, it's actually
very
acceptable
safe
already. Yeah.
Correct. So next, we'll be talking about the layout.
So 2 plus study, we have 3 different layouts lah, right? So we're talking about the smallest one first, 6, 7, 8 square feet. We have actually everything is pool facing, 40 units. So we can definitely enclose the study.
Yeah, so you can actually do some ID transparent glass or something
Or
like that.
if you don't want to, then you can just
Remove
make it like a very, very
big
large dining area. Actually, this
How many
dining area
drawer
you
for
can
you?
sit
You want
8,
10? Maybe 12 also can. So you can extend Okay,
yeah,
so basically
this is quite a decent layout.
Correct.
Right? But we move on to the other 2 so that we can do a comparison. Right? So the other 2, it's 689 square feet and 700 square feet. So what's the difference here?
Okay, so for 700 square feet, just to point out first, we got a bit more rare 21 units only. For both, you can actually enclose the kitchen. But if you really dive in and see, this one actually it's like wall to wall, it's easier to enclose. This one maybe you need to be a bit diagonal slightly a little bit. But the fridge actually is at the entrance here, so it makes it more attractive.
So the fridge is at one corner.
This one, the fridge is a bit one corner. You want to go in, you have to open up and then you go all the way to the end. This one is actually
not a big deal
closer.
lah, it's preference lah.
Preference
Not a
lah.
big deal, yeah.
Then other than that, the study that we see just now is a bit more awkward outside, right?
Correct.
Usually people will remove that
The
entirely.
study in front of a kitchen.
Correct. But this one is interesting because the study is in a room. So technically speaking, if you need your common room to be bigger, you can do that lah.
Yep.
Yeah, and on top of that, right, you can also open another door over here, then Jack and Jill lor. So if you are buying this, like what we said earlier, not so much for rental, but if you are buying this for rental, then you can actually rent to one party, one group, one pax, or one couple here and then another one here both
Yeah.
en suite lah.
Yeah.
So up to you to play around, but between these 2 it's actually quite neck and neck because it's just 2 square feet different.
Yeah.
Actually no,
A bit only lah.
a bit only
12.
but my math cannot math now.
11.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit only. Actually,
It's just the flexibility that is very attractive.
correct. So to me is whichever layout is okay, but so long as you find one that is maybe in terms of pricing the most reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for in this area it doesn't really matter about the facing whether you're facing condo or you're facing pool, so long as you get one, because the facing is not like one landed view or like sea view and all. So if you can get one, maybe in terms of PSF is slightly lower, then just go for that one.
it, yeah.
Correct. So for 2-bedder plus study, preference is go for the most reasonable price, either 689 or 700 square feet.
Not so much on the focus on the premium facing lah, doesn't really matter.
Correct.
Not the priority.
So let's go further. The top choices, which we mentioned, 2-bedder, we will go for the smallest one, which is the 624 square feet.
Because the light will shine through in the kitchen, making the whole area very bright and nice lah.
Yeah, and not too much of a difference as compared to the other size.
Correct.
Right. Then for 2 plus
plus
study,
study.
we will go for the actually 700 or 689. Both
Whichever
okay.
that has the more reasonable pricing,
Pricing,
lah, right?
correct.
Because of I think the one is the all inward facing, so it really depends. These 2 may end. This the 700 square feet versus the 689 might end up be around the same price.
Correct.
So
Then just go for the bigger one,
Yeah.
700,
Yeah.
slightly bigger. Okay, so next we'll go into our 3-bedder
Three-bedder.
analysis.
Before we start the 3-bedder analysis, we'll do this a little bit more special, different
Okay.
way, right? Because for 3-bedder, there are several types, right? So, but we'll divide into 2 groups, right? So, the smaller unit types, the compact, we will be targeting, right, the HDB upgraders.
Correct.
But for the larger unit type, right, we will be,
Talking about the general East Coast 3-bedder lover lah.
yeah, those, what do they focus on?
Luxury. People in the East, I think,
Got
got
money.
money. Not that anywhere else no money, I
Yeah,
don't stay
yeah,
in the East, but usually I think they go for space,
Yeah.
luxury, the best of the best.
The focus is a little bit different, so we have to understand our target audience when it comes to a District 15 or East Coast project, right? So for 3-bedder, we have the smallest one, we have the largest one, so that will have a very different audience.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
So let's go.
So the first one, before we go into the layout, we'll talk about the current price comparison. So same thing,
990 square feet Tembusu Grand sold out.
Yes, all gone already.
All
but
gone.
we can see that the highest transacted price for Tembusu Grand is actually
$2.5
$2.523 million already. Same thing for 883 square feet, right? EOK, the guide price is actually 2.1
2.1
million from. So it's exactly the same thing that we share with you from the two beta part, which is the developer pricing strategy. Meaning to say for EOK, we are still actually at the very phase one beginner.
So again, you have an opportunity again to have something that you missed out at Tembusu Grand at EOK.
Correct.
Right, but actually, if you look at it, the EOK, right, their dining superb.
Yeah, actually the layout of 883 it's so much smaller than the 990, but then you can see that the dining space, right, is actually properly tucked at this area. You want 8-seater, in fact 10-seater, I think no problem. But for Tembusu Grand, you can't do that because it's already fixed, already 6-seater.
Yeah.
You do 8-10, don't need to walk out already.
Correct. so we will only be using this as a reference to Tembusu Grand, the smallest one, because in my opinion, I think this one, even the smallest EOK one, already better than Tembusu Grand. But because Tembusu Grand already sold out, so now you have a better layout at a cheaper price.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to begin. So for 3-bedder, right, the normal 3-bedder, we have two layouts. One is 883 square feet, and then the other one is 904 square feet. 883 square feet, very rare. We only have 21 units of them. Actually, the real difference between the two of them is actually more of the corridor space. Balcony, this one's slightly bigger.
Very small.
Yeah, 3050. This one is 2950.
Yeah.
Good thing about this layout, I guess, is the squarish kitchen.
Correct.
Yeah, because nowadays when we see projects, we don't really get to see this kind of squarish kitchen. Personally, I prefer squarish kitchen as well.
For sure.
But this one, do note there is no study room. There is also
compact
no storeroom. So it's
compact
pretty much very compact. In terms of facing, actually for 883, you only have one that is facing the future development, which is the green. And then for the 904, you get more options. Condo, internal, green also
But
got.
technically speaking, for a 3-bedroom compact, this is everything you need.
Correct. So now let's go into the next topic, which is quite interesting, 3-bedder target audience.
Yeah, so
right?
just now we mentioned about target audience, right? So the smaller 3-bedders, we are talking about HDB upgraders.
Correct.
What do we mean by that?
Okay, so smaller one, upgraders. The bigger one, later we will ask, we'll talk about this. It's more for like the normal 3-bedders, right? They will usually go for the bigger type.
Correct.
So for this, we will be using a real case study for this seller from McPherson Green. Okay,
McPherson Spring.
McPherson Spring.
McPherson Green.
McPherson Spring is basically in the east side, relatively still quite close to
Close
where
one
we
stop
are.
away to Paya Lebar Square.
Okay, great. So it's a real case example. This person actually purchased the 4-room HDB at 480,000. The average resale price right now is about 1.1 million. A bit crazy right now. So if we do the math, right, so we are not going to dive right into it, but basically the cash proceeds that we counted out is about
Estimated
380.
about 380.
Correct. And CPF refunding back to them about 320. So their total asset they got in their hand is about 700k.
Yep.
So based on 700k, if I include like for example stamp duty, this person can actually buy up to a 2.4 million. Which just now we mentioned that the 3-bedder compact guide price is 2.1.
Yep.
So this person can actually sell their house, go for a
2.1.
compact 2.1. In fact, next time, can you imagine when you buy in a 2.1 or 2.2 million, usually you will be able to sell at like maybe 2.4, 2.5, 2.6.
Yeah.
So actually this person, if they were to sell at this price right now, right, they can already buy up to 2.4 plus, meaning to say they can even support your exit price next time.
So these people will still be able to buy even after 3 years when you sell.
Correct. Meaning to say maybe got a few, this one is maybe like 7, 8, 9 years old already, but they're probably, I don't know, by then they still can sell this high or not. If the prices still continue to go up,
but they also have their own CPF funds also.
Correct. They still got their own current CPF also.
So the top up is not much.
Correct. If they need to top up.
Yeah.
But right now, if they don't even need to top up,
Yeah.
they can straight away go into it already.
So that's why we said that this is more for the HDB upgraders.
We foresee right now.
The layout is almost similar, to be honest, other than maybe a yard
Yeah, correct.
and
maybe,
a storeroom.
Yeah, a storeroom and a
Yeah, but all these you can actually compensate by doing some carpentry work and stuff like that.
Like more storages and all that. But then I think it's still a very good upgrade because now you are like literally from McPherson Spring all the way to Katong area, East Coast area, and you get like your facilities and all. So I think a lot of the 3-bedder will be the HDB upgraders.
Yep.
Okay, and that is how we will be selecting our preferred unit later
Correct.
as well. So now let's move into 3 plus study.
There are 4 different types. Right?
Okay, so for 969, right, it's actually a smaller living hall. You cannot hack the study.
Yeah.
Okay, which is very similar to this 991. You cannot hack the study
Bigger
as well.
store lor, the
Correct.
one bigger store, one smaller store.
So actually, other than that, the store a bit of a difference lah, but they're actually quite similar leh.
Correct.
So this one a bit more unique. You only got 19
units.
This one you got 40 units. So basically that is the difference. But if you look at this 990, which is what you mentioned, C4S, compared to the C5S, right? F, which is this one.
So why F? Because it's called Flexi. Why is it Flexi?
Oh,
it's because
okay, I see.
You can hack your way the study to make an elongated dining area.
Oh, this is the one at the show flat. Yeah, I've seen it for myself. Wow, it's super nice. In fact, if you ask me,
the feeling is quite nice, to be honest.
I prefer this than the 4-bedder. Okay, but anyway,
we will go into that.
Yeah, but I think this is really very nice. The moment you go in, the kitchen is actually very big. Window here so that the light can
will
penetrate.
Shine through.
Yeah, bigger. And then after that, this one you remove, you can actually put a very, very big dining. In fact, I think they put a piano or something down here.
Even if, let's say, you don't need such a huge study, you just like shift it over a bit, put a partition wall.
Yeah, over here, make it smaller. Yeah. So it still have a lot of space. So I think this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But like what we say, usually for people in the East, if they are looking at a 3-bedder plus study and beyond, right, most of the time they just want the biggest, the creme de la creme, right? So you will be looking at 1023.
The feeling that it's like, wow.
Yes, because if let's say you need the study or you got a helper, you probably need to use
and
this.
Close this up.
Correct. Then after that, your dining will be quite small already, right? But for people with like 3 plus study, usually it's a bigger family type.
Correct.
They need a bigger dining space, and this one will give you perfectly
a proper dining space.
Correct.
A store and a study. If let's say you have a helper, you can enclose this study to be your helper's room lah.
Correct. So I think that if you have a bigger family type, then I think this is actually more suitable.
It checks all the boxes lah for this
Correct.
1023 square feet.
Yes, got study, got storeroom, and then you also have a bigger dining space.
WC yard also.
Yes. So okay, now we go into the top choices. So top choices for the smaller bedder type, which is a 3-bedder, again we will choose the 883. Reason because not too big of a difference.
Correct.
And we are targeting what HDB upgraders.
Correct. So just now, like we mentioned, we have to understand our target audience and who we are going to sell to in the future. So we definitely will be choosing this 883 square feet because of that.
Yeah, and a bit lower quantum long.
Yeah.
So and another thing is it's very rare like 21 unit. Whether you can snatch it or not, that's a different thing. If you cannot, right, actually this is also not too bad.
Of course.
Okay. So now we go into the 3-bed plus study. So like what we mentioned just now, all the buyers that are going for the 3-bed plus study and beyond, usually they look at luxurious space.
Correct.
You know, I think checks the box
Correct.
of all they need, right? I think it will be this because study, store, bigger dining space.
And actually, you see this dining area, it's actually from, I recall seeing something like that in Tembusu Grand.
This dining area.
4-bedder.
Oh, 4-bedder. Yeah, I was like thinking, yes,
So
correct.
this is like you are buying into a 3 plus study, but you actually have the feels of a Tembusu Grand 4-bedder, which is actually quite rare, I think.
Correct. So that's why we have concluded our 3-bed and 3 plus study top choice.
Yeah. So we can move on to the 4-bedroom analysis.
Okay, so now we've reached our 4-bedder, but before we dive in any further, I just want to let you know, like in general, the 4-bedders are divided into 3 different categories. The 1152 square feet series, the 1002 plus series, and the 1003 plus series.
So it's like business class, economy class, and
First class.
First class.
Yes, correct, you're right.
My order a bit wrong, but okay.
Correct. So the first one, 1152, we call it as the 4-bedder plus study. Then the 1002 one is actually the 4 premium. And then after that, you have the 4 Lux plus study.
Yeah, so just now we mentioned the Lux block, right? So this is where we will touch on it really.
Correct. So 4-bedder plus study. Okay, so it's actually only 1152 square feet. You realize it's actually very close to the 1023 square feet.
Yep.
3-bed plus study. Okay, so now we talk about the layout. Layout wise, it's a dumbbell layout. So we have 3 units, 3-bedder from bedroom from this side, and then 1 bedroom from this side.
But do note that this bedroom 4 is not a junior master.
Yes,
it's just a bedroom 4 plus like a study at the side.
Correct. So you can actually remove this study to create a bigger room but then again you don't have an attached bathroom.
Correct.
Guide price is actually from 2.7 million onwards. In terms of facing, they are actually closer to the beach club side.
Yep.
Not sure if it's because all the kids are here, but anyways, you have one that is facing the beach club and the other one that is facing the condo. They are basically mirror image. So the only good thing about this layout especially is more for like you can create a bigger 4th bedroom. Okay, then we compare this to the 4-bedroom premium. This one different already. This one you reach the 1002 range.
Correct. So these are business class.
Business class. Yes.
So for business class, right, the D3 and D4, the difference is actually the walkway.
One is walkway definitely.
Walkway is the most obvious one. The D3, right, it's straight away lah. You can see straight into your living room, which if let's say you value privacy more, maybe the D4 would be a better choice.
Yeah, but then again, if you are paying a lot more, right, because it's 1070 for just additional corridor, I'd rather you just focus on this lah, right? So another thing, difference between this 4-bedroom premium as compared to the 4-bedroom plus study earlier one
Economy class and business class.
Yes, okay, this is an easier way to explain, is that this one you get wide frontage already.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a front back living, your dining can be here, but the other one is more of a portrait, that means left and right.
Correct.
So most of the time for 4-bedder, generally you like things like that already. The
Because
moment
you
come
have
in,
families, friends coming to your
Correct.
place. So all this space is very, very appreciated. Then there's this dotted line. What is the dotted line behind?
Where's the dotted line?
Behind the living. So it's like actually that one, you can actually double it up as something else.
Correct.
If let's say you need a study or what, but they give you the flexibility of having a large size living room.
Yes, and they never compromise you of your dining. They still a 8-seater over here.
Yeah.
So very good. And this one is the tuck-in kind of wardrobe lah, that we always say, right, in our videos. Later when we go to the 4 Lux, that one you get
Different
the proper
story.
one already. So basically that is the difference, and guide price is about
3 million.
3 million starting from lah.
Yep.
So next, before we go into the 4 Lux, let's just recap again what is the Lux Tower. Just now we mentioned is actually basically
4
this block.
units.
4 units, 5 room, 5 room, 4 room, 4 room, and this is the side gate linking to the Tanjong
Tanjong
Katong
Katong
MRT. 5 minutes walk. So we are closest one, and we are very close to the future park area, and also this is where the gym and everything is, a game room and all. So that's why usually Lux Tower, they will be near all these prime amenities and all lah.
A bit more peaceful.
Okay, yes. And then, okay, for this kind of 4 units per level, we consider it a point block. Correct. So private, exclusive. On top of that, they give you exquisite
Marble
finishes.
everywhere.
Marble, and
Almost
depends whether you
everywhere.
like marble or not lah.
Almost
Okay,
everywhere.
we
Because
got
marble is like more of a high-end kind
high
of.
end. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have it in your living, your dining, your private lift foyer,
Dry kitchen.
lift foyer, and even your dry kitchen and all your walk hallway to bedrooms.
Only kitchen don't have lah. And
don't need so
bomb
atas
shelter.
lah. Wow, if bomb shelter got, that's a different story.
That's a
already,
different story.
Wow, what are you buying? Okay, so maybe the price will be very different.
Very different. You have
beyond
a bomb
blue already.
shelter, marble flooring.
Correct.
No,
And
no
then
such thing, no
on
such
top
thing.
of that, right, they throw you high-end kitchen appliances lah.
Yeah.
Which maybe the other normal blocks don't have. And for 5-bedroom, they actually give you a private lift.
access.
Okay. For all level, maybe except ground floor, because you don't need lift for that.
B1 to 1 meh?
So then this is the only one which we'll be talking about later. Okay, so 4-bedroom plus Lux, right? Wow, this one is a different story really, because right now you are looking at same thing lah, actually traditional layout. Your common room can actually combine this one. Combine it with your study room and make it a slightly bigger room, but do note that the wall you can't really hack. Same thing, we have a wide frontage over here, and it comes with, of course, a bigger yard area, which is here. And then this one is what we say the walk-in wardrobe.
Yep.
Literally you can
walk
walk
in.
in one. It's not the tuck left and right kind one.
Yeah.
Okay. Guide price 3.1 million.
So actually from business class to first class, that's now starting 3
Top up not a
million.
lot. Yeah,
3.1.
correct, 3.1.
Actually, can consider.
Can consider, and like what we always say for 4-bedder, right, the top choices. So for 4-bedder, like usually buyers, they will go for like the creme de la creme, the bigger.
Yep.
One is 3, one is 3.1. Then might as well they just get the 3.1, which is the 1,003 that package lah.
Correct.
So if you're looking at the normal 4-bedroom plus study, right? Okay, so
Layout is very, very important to all these people.
Correct. So if let's say you're looking at this one, which is the D1S, which is the smallest 11521,
Correct.
our option is that maybe if you don't need the extra bedroom, just go for the 1023.
Because it has a feel of a 4-bedder, but just don't have the 4-bedroom.
Correct. Because the thing is, you have to understand that this will be your competitor next time also. Because people that can go for a smaller 4, they generally can also take a bigger 3.
Correct.
Right? And then usually for people that want to go into a 4-bedder, they won't be looking at this 1152 size. Normally it's the 1002 range
2000,
and above.
2003.
Because this is really squeezing it already. Your size is not that big, but you really want to squeeze a
That's why they
4-bedroom.
don't have a third toilet.
They don't have law. So for me is, if you're looking at this two, I would say that if you don't need the 4th bedroom, just go for the 1023.
Because you have a more luxe feeling also in the 3-bedder. You are like the top choice for the 3-bedder.
Correct. But if you really need a 4-bedroom and budget is a constraint, then this will be a
have
good
our
idea lah.
recommendations.
Yeah, because this one won't stretch you so much. This is 2.7 million starting from, not the 3 over million already.
Correct.
Okay, but if you're comparing 4-bedder with the 4 premium plus the 4 Lux,
Lux.
right? Then I would say this is your third choice.
Correct.
Okay, we go to the first two choice. Ta-da! 4-bedroom premium and Lux. So for us, like what we keep repeating is that buyers that are looking at 4-bedder, they
Want a luxury feeling, the layout is good, they can actually accommodate all their friends, families, hosting, like I'm staying in a luxury project. So
Correct.
that's why we are actually recommending the Lux over the premium.
Correct. So you see that, for example, this one, the Lux one, you actually get the lights to come in from the balcony. Your whole kitchen will be very big, but this one is actually smaller, so might be a bit darker here. And for
Because of the home shelter coverage, like
bomb
blocking it
shelter
also.
blocking it. Yeah. So for this one, and you get a full walk-in wardrobe before you reach the bath. So usually we will go for we're talking about range, will be the 1,300 plus range
Actually,
first.
the difference is like what, 43 square feet?
From what? From this one?
This one to this one?
Oh, yeah lor. So usually I will say go for option number 1, 1,302. Then option number 2, go for the smaller 1,002 type.
Yeah.
So if you want to know like the 1,302 versus the 1,300 which one to go for, and the 1,002 which one, then you reach out to us lah.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's very very minor of difference only.
Correct.
Okay, and then now we move on to the 5-bedder
Five-bedder
analysis. So I don't want to bore you. Actually, the next slide is the Lux Tower, but we just mentioned about that. So we
So
don't
the
need
4-bedder don't have private lift lah. So
Correct.
the 5-bedder will have one private
private
lift.
lift. So this is the block with the private lift.
One stack that has the
One
private-
stack. So actually for 5-bedder quite easy, because generally we only have 2 different layout. We don't talk about the ground floor lah. We talk about the normal one. One
Yeah.
is with lift, one is without lift.
Correct.
And then
Again, just now we mentioned
Yes, correct.
marble everywhere, premium finishes,
Correct.
and premium stack.
correct. So if you are a 5-bedder buyer already, would you go for the more premium one, or would you go for the
Of
less
course
premium?
lah.
The
If I'm
business class
gonna
or the first class?
if I'm gonna pay top dollar, right?
Yes.
I might as well get the top choice.
Yes. So this is our take on the 5-bedder luxury lah. So guide price is actually from 3.5 million starting on. One is 1,475 square feet. The one with lift is actually 1,516 square feet. Okay, so the main difference, of course, you have the private lift area lah for this lift one. So private lift and foyer. One thing we want to highlight is that normally the secondary exit will usually be behind the yard area, but this one is actually
They share the same private lift foyer
correct.
area.
So it might be a bit, some people like, some people don't
Don't
really like.
mind
Yeah,
vents.
so up to you. Other than that, they have a wide frontage, which is here. They have a walk-in kitchen. Walk-in wardrobe. And a darker kitchen. So the kitchen is actually over here because it's tucked by it's blocked by your dry kitchen.
Dry
lah.
kitchen,
So it might be a bit dark, but this one will be very bright because this is the whole thing is transparent.
Correct.
So I think this good point will be brighter kitchen.
Just that you have to
Similar thing-
compromise on the private lift lah.
private lift law. If you don't need it, then you just go for the 1,475. But if you really want it to be luxe and all, then go for the 1,516. But honestly speaking, our honest opinion is that is this really a very very nice layout as compared to what's available in the market? Actually, not so much lah. Because next slide, I'm going to show you what are some of the 5-bedder luxury in the
In
market.
other areas.
Yeah, that is, in my opinion, nicer.
A lot nicer.
A lot nicer. My
A lot more
favorite.
atas feel lah, to be honest.
Yes. Okay, so like for example, we look at the 5-bedder luxury comparison. I just take 2 lah. One is Continuum in the same area.
In the same area.
One is Pine Tree. Pine Tree is my personal favorite, hands down. Because the moment you come in here, right? Okay, secondary exit is here. You have a private lift. But you realize that your foyer, right, is actually facing the whole balcony. All the lights actually gets to come in.
Yeah.
And I
And
really say
your private foyer actually has a window as well, which is not
rare.
commonly
Rare.
seen
So
for
this one is
private
very
foyer.
bright.
Yep.
usually
and
it's
airy
very
lah.
un one.
If
Very
not,
dark.
it gets like that is like a very isolated area, right? But this one with the light coming through and the window, I think it's quite nice. It's a nice touch.
Of course. And then I need to explain my kitchen. This kitchen is a squarish kitchen. I think this one we actually compare with for me
Nava
Nava
Grove.
Grove. I really really love this kitchen. Like where can you find a kitchen in the middle still can put an island top?
Yeah.
Very important for me when you bake and all. So to me this layout very hard to compare it with EOK leh. Then this one also got walk in, someone still got bath, right?
When you just open up, all your friends can hang around the area, right? It's
Correct.
actually a very nice feeling. So when you're looking at
Continuum
5-bedroom, right? This is the kind of feeling that the buyers are looking for.
Correct. And then for example, Continuum, the one that is near Paya Lebar side,
Yep.
freehold one. This one also same thing. When you come in, you have a private lift foyer. This one, okay, lights come in from here also, but no window already. Okay. Then you got a powder room here.
Yep.
5-bedder usually got, but for EOK, unfortunately don't have lah.
yeah.
So if you say so much, right, then people will be like, huh? then I go with other luxury or other 5-bedder better than EOK ma. But that's not true also, because right, EOK, although we say that the layout is not as fantastic as compared to some of the current new launches.
But
right?
we also have to look at other factors.
Correct. But if you want to look at, like, for example, really based on layout wise, right, reach out to us. We can share with you like what are the 5-bedders that we personally feel that wow, is impressive. It's like wow one, right? But 5-bedder can buy on EOK, actually can, because lack of supply.
Supply and demand. Demand is not something you can play around lah. Demand is demand lah, right? But supply is something that is fixed.
Correct.
Right.
So we look at two different things. One is we actually dig out from Property Guru, basically based on like $3 to $5 million in East Coast for 5-bedder, but we exclude all those newer launches like Tembusu Grand, Grand Diamond, Continuum and all. Actually, there isn't any. There's not much choices around. And then on top, so lack of supply. So people that are coming to this area looking at 5-bedder, right? Then they have no other options but to look at between, you know, EOK, Tembusu Grand, Continuum, blah blah blah, right? But we also want to point out that for 5-bedroom, right, in Tembusu Grand,
don't have private lift also.
You don't have a private lift. So that actually makes EOK much more attractive.
The EOK layout that has the private lift actually was like, you are actually quite special.
Correct. So it makes you a little bit more like, even though the layout is not super fantastic, but it is still, I think, still got buyers will come and look at this this project one.
Because if they say they want to stay in the east and then this is the best of the choices they have, then yeah, why not?
Correct. So just remember lack of supply. And then next time there will be future demand.
Correct.
Very similar to those that we share about Treasure at Tampines. And also the Jadescape one, that is another video.
Actually, the time Chuan Park we also mentioned, right, the 5-bedder in Chuan Park also
that's the Chuan Park video. So actually, too many I don't remember already. So if you want, you can refer to the Chuan Park video. It's exactly the same situation in the area. Generally, in most of the district, not many 5-bedders available.
Yeah, and then if let's say you're comparing to landed, then obviously that is another class of like
its own already. Which you can look at the Chuan Park one because we compare it with like landed in Thomson area.
Correct.
So next we go for the top choices. Our top choice.
I think quite clear lah. Just now we actually mentioned why we actually select the one with the private lift and only 17 units.
Go for the grandest.
Go for the grandest.
Yes, if you can, of course, yeah.
Because again, just now, like we mentioned, I think it is very, very important to understand who are your future buyers.
Correct, your future buyers. So
what are they focused on?
Like for 2-bedder, what kind? 1-bedder plus study, 2-bedder, 3-bedder, and 4-bedder, and then now 5-bedder.
Yeah. So just now when we talk about 3-bedder, right, we actually separated our target audience and our future buyers to be the HDB upgraders and those that are like towards the 3, 4, 5, like the bigger unit types where the luxury is more important.
Actually, we are talking about like basically from 1 plus study all the way to 5-bedder. We kind of just cut it in
half.
the 3-bedder part lah. So anything that is 3-bedder below, right, if you can look for something, generally rule of thumb, cheaper better.
Yes.
Right? Because it's more for own stay, it's more for like, you know, see which entry point is the cheapest.
Correct.
But anything that's 3 plus and above, right, if you can, try to go for the grandest really.
Correct.
Because you are targeting about buyers that coming in that want like the best next time. Yeah. So I think that is how we conclude. We have come to the end of our sharing already. So I hope you enjoy our EOK sharing. I don't know which project are we going to do next really because there's still more
probably
coming
going to
up.
take a break.
The Ori, you know, and also I think some others. So going to take a short break on all this project. But if you have any questions,
you can still reach out to us and we will definitely get back to you. But we are now currently like compiling everything together so that this will reach you in time before the booking day.
Yes, correct. So we hope you enjoy this session and we'll see you again. Bye!